Hello, it's Miss Kristen here. How are all my little cobras doing? Okay, thank you guys so much for joining me on Saturday morning. For those guys who joined me during the quarantine, welcome back. It's so nice to be back teaching online. And then for those guys who are joining me from Gracie, Charlottesville, thank you guys for joining me on YouTube Live. So this is a kids jiu-jitsu class. So a couple of things, we'll just go over some ground rules here with Miss Kristen. So first rule is always respect, which means treat others the way you would like to be treated. Okay, second rule is discipline, which I would expect to see a level 10 focus. Now, I can't see everybody, so I'm assuming you're giving a level 10 focus if you are watching it at home with your parents. So I'm so happy you guys are tuning in this morning. So typically for a kids jiu-jitsu class, we try to break it up into 4 different parts. Okay, so the first thing is going to be our warm-up or our solo drills, our partner drills, something you can do at home with your parents, move of the day, and then a game or some sort of drill that you can do at home. So we're going to kind of break it up into those 4 different sections. So we've been working a lot of, I've done a lot of mount online, some standing self-defense. So we're going to start with some guard today. I'm teaching actually Miss Kristen's favorite sweep from the guard, which I'm very, very excited about. We got to go ahead and get warmed up first. So we're going to do some solo drills, kind of warm up our body, get ready to go for movement for the day. So let's get started. So we're going to go ahead and start. Really simple. We're just gonna lie down. We're gonna do some hip bridges. So what we're gonna do is get our feet on the ground. We're gonna bridge our hips as high as we can. We're gonna imagine make our belt touch the ceiling and then back down. That's all we're gonna do to start. We're gonna do about 10 of those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, we're going to teeter-totter up. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to rock into what we call a tall sit. So a tall sit is going to be just our shield position. So everyone, our shield or our listening stance number 3. Okay, this is going to be here. So our foot, our hip, and our hand are all in a nice straight line. No noodle arms. This is a noodle-free zone. So this is our tall sit. So how we're going to do it is we're going to rock, come up, and then listening stance number 3. Share tall sit. Okay, rock back up, and then shield. Rock up, and then shield. Rock up, shield, rock up, shield. So you're gonna do about 5 of those each side, making sure that we're really, really sideways. We're not like here. Making sure a nice straight line, everything's strong. Rock, shield, rock, and then shield. Good. Now we're going to go into our side bend sit or S-mount position. So I have one leg in front of us and one leg behind us. Okay, so what we're going to start is we're going to kind of warm up a little bit. We're going to bring our leg in front and then behind, trying not to use our hands. That's the goal. So here, front, behind, in front, and then behind. We're looking to do about 5 each side. Okay, once we've done about 5 each, now we're going to do a new drill. We're going to go ahead and we're going to push our hips forward, up as high as we can, and then back down. Now we're going to go ahead and swap it. Bring our hips as high as we can, and I'm pointing my toes so I can roll over my shin. So I'm pushing my hips up as high as I can, then back down. I'm going to show it from the side. So what I'm not doing is this. I'm going to hold it and bring my hips forward. I'm also going to make my belt touch the person, and then back down. And then we're going to switch sides, driving our hips forward and then back down. Driving our hips forward and then back down. Drive our hips forward and then back down. Drive our hips forward and then back down. So once we've done that, we're going to go ahead and start working on our guard position. So our first drill is going to be a reverse rock. So we're going to use our legs to pull ourselves and rock backwards versus rocking up forward. So close my guard, making sure this is nice and strong, not noodly. Now I'm going to go and bring my heels in. I'm going to rock, bringing my knees towards my head. I want to think about pulling the bad guy forward, not on top of me. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good job. Let's teeter-totter up. We'll get our listening stance number 2. Level 10 focus. Okay, excellent, guys. So once we've done our rocking, we're going to finish up with a little bit of fitness. We're going to do what we call a collar choke sit-up. So for those of you who have been with me for the mount section, we're going for the collar choke. We're going to reach up as high as we can, like we have the person in our guard, and do some sit-ups, just kind of break a little bit of a sweat. And then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you guys your first partner drill. Okay, so ready? We're going to have our legs up. When I reach up, I don't want to reach with my arms. I want to try to reach as high as I can, and then back down. Okay, we're going to do 10. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good job. Okay, listening stance number 2, level 10 focus, guys. Thank you so much. So we should be pretty warm, but not tired, so which is good. So now we're going to get into our first drill. So the guard is called the guard because we are guarding ourselves. So the first thing we're going to work on is our open guard maintenance, because if you are, a smaller kid, you probably won't always be able to close your guard around the bad guy, or the bad guy stands up. So we're going to do some really simple drills that you can use to maintain your guard. We're going to do 3 today. We're going to do a hitch hike, a shoulder walk, and then coming up to our shield or standing base position. Really simple, straightforward. So I want you to imagine when the bad guy's trying to hit you, touch your head, and what you want to do is guard yourself, making sure that the bad guy can never hit us. Now, I unfortunately do not have a partner, and I left bear drills at my old place, so no bear drills today. So I'm going to try my best for my kiddos to use their imagination, okay, against an imaginary bad guy, or you can do this with your parents at home. So the first one is our hitch hike. So the idea is when I have my feet on the bad guy's hips, I want to have my hips up if I can. Okay, I want to imagine that my feet are like little monkey feet. I want to make sure I'm kind of grabbing onto the bad guy. So when I hitchhike, the idea is I want to attach myself to the person, and then when they move, I move with them. So the way you can practice this at home without a person is put the foot on the hip and then put the other foot on the ground. And then I want to do is I want to kind of tuck my hips up a little bit, and I want to just follow them. One side, then the other side. One side, and then the other side. What I don't want to do is kind of flatten mutely, because then I can't follow them. My legs are all relaxed. When they move, I can't follow them. So your parent is going to be in front of you. You're going to put your feet on the hips. Your hips are going to be high. And what I want you to do is make sure that we never get turned into a sandwich. I don't want my knees to come to my head. Remember, we want to eat sandwiches, not be sandwiches. So it's very important that my hips are nice and high. My foot is going to be attached to the, okay? Now I want to have my hips high, because when the person moves in a circle, I'm going to follow them. They move the other way, I'm going to move, making sure I'm attached. Okay, that's our hitch hike. So we're just catching a ride, kind of in a circle. So I want to make sure I'm spinning on the center of my back, not chilling out, hanging out on the ground, just making mad angels. Okay, that's our first one. Our second one is going to be our shoulder walk. So really we're going to walk our shoulders. So the idea is, when I have my feet and the person starts to come forward on me, I don't want them to fold me up. That's bad. Okay, that means they can hit me. So the idea is, when I have my feet up, when they push forward, I'm going to shoulder walk my shoulders back, kind of like a little shimmy, a little wiggle. So if you're going to practice it without a partner, you're just going to go ahead and use your feet and your shoulders. 1, 2, and I'm going to shoulder walk up the ground. Okay. If you have a parent or a partner at home, you're going to put your feet on the hips. Your hips are going to be high. And I want you to imagine, instead of pushing off of the ground, you're going to push off of them to wiggle. And that's going to be your shoulder walk. Never letting your knee come towards your head. Never getting folded up. Okay? So we have our hitch hike, our shoulder walk. Now, what if the bad guy goes backwards? If the bad guy goes backwards, I can't touch them with my feet anymore. That's when I have to come up. And for self-defense, we're going to make our shield or our listening stance number 3, so we can always protect ourselves. So even if they're far away, I can follow the bad guy. Follow the bad guy. Okay? So bad guy goes side to side, side, hitch hike, side. They come forward, shoulder walk. They go backwards. They come up, and then follow. That's what we're looking for. Okay? So those are the 3. Okay, any questions so far? If there are questions, now is a great time to write them in the comment section. If not, we are going to move on. So that's your open guard maintenance. So my guard is open, I can't close it. If I can close my guard, then I can have more control of the bad guy, but sometimes you always have that option. So we did our warm-up. Thank you. Someone said no. I appreciate that. Versus I usually hear an overwhelming silent no. Thank you guys. So next thing we're going to be moving into is going to be our move of the day. So our move of the day is going to be two things. It's going to be punch block defense in the closed guard, and then our sit-up sweep, which is actually my favorite sweep to teach, and it's also my favorite sweep to teach kids. I once had a girl, she was 8, and I taught this sweep to her, and she pulled it off 10 times in one tournament. So I know it's very effective. Okay, so first thing you got to do is not get hit. That's our number one priority. So we're breaking down posture. I don't want to use my arms to break down posture. If I use my arms to break down posture, what's protecting my face? Nothing. So I want to make sure there's something always protecting my face. So my hands are in my level center focus position. I'm going to pull the person in, the back in, and I'm going to swing my arms inside to outside to bite the head and bite the arm. Okay, so I pull the person in, swing my arms inside to outside, and overhook. So I'm overhooking one of the bad guy's arms, and I'm biting the head. I want to kind of hang on the person like a vicious koala bear. So this is like my koala bear guard. I'm just going to hang on the bad guy. If I can hang on the bad guy, then it's really, really hard for them to bring their arms up. So the arms become really, really heavy. So the idea is, if I break down the bad guy and they're here, if I'm hanging on them, then their arms are really heavy, so they have to push themselves up really, really hard to get up to a good posture, trying to hit me again. So I want to make the bad guy as uncomfortable as possible. To make the bad guy as uncomfortable as possible, it's harder for them to hit me. So another angle. We're going to go ahead, have our guard. I pull the person, I'm going to go inside to outside. I bite the head, and I bite the arm. My head is over the other side. I'm going to hang on them. And this is how tight I want to be. I want really, really tight. I want to be loose. Really, really tight, and just hang on them like that vicious koala bear. That's what we're looking for. Other side, pull them in, inside to outside, bite the head, bite the arm, and I'm biting here. Not with my hands, but with my arms. Remember, I want to keep our friends close and our elbows closer. Getting really, really tight. Okay, so that's breaking down posture of the guard. And that is our number one thing we want to do for our punch block defense. So most important thing is not getting hit by the bad guy. Now, the bad guy's not going to hang out there. They're not going to like chill and be like, oh, they thwarted me. I guess I will just concede. No, they're probably going to try to get out. And there's only so many ways to get out of that position. One of the simplest ones is the bad guy using his arms to push himself all the way back up to good posture. So if I'm a bad guy, the person starts to break me down. Oh no. I'm going to push myself up, back up to here, which is our good posture. This is what gives me the opportunity to do my sit-up sweep. So I want you to imagine when the bad guy pushes himself up, they're like a chair here. This is a chair that I want to kind of sit my hips in their lap. This is what gives me the ability to do this sweep to someone a lot bigger than me. If I'm like far away from the bad guy, it's going to be very, very difficult. So I want to kind of sit in the person's lap, and then I'm going to push my hips forward, just like we did when we did our cross kneeling and our warm-up. So this is what it's going to look like. Remember what we did in our warm-up? We break down posture. Inside, outside, bite, koala bear guard. The person comes up. Now, instead of fighting them, I'm going to come up with them. When they come up, I come up with them, like a rocking. Then, hand behind me. Remember our shield? But I'm going to be sitting not on the ground in real life. I'm going to be sitting in the bad guy's lap. So now what I want to do is that this arm has to trap the opposite arm of the bad guy, because that is the one that they're going to use to base. So I reach across, I trap over top of their arm, keep the arm for me. It's my arm. They don't get it back. It's my arm. Now, remember when we push our hips in? So we're going to push our hips in as high as we can until my knee touches the ground. Now I'm going to take a big step to make a U-turn. And then base in the mount position. That is our sit-up sweep. So, other side, or our move of the day, if you will. So, we break down posture, swim inside to outside, vicious koala bear guard. They come up, I come up with them, hand behind us. This is strong. Now, I'm sitting in the bad guy's lap. I should not be sitting on the ground here. I'm sitting on the ground because I do not have a bad guy, unfortunately. Now I'm going to reach across. I trap the arm. Now I'm going to push my hips in as high as I can. Did everyone see that? So it's high, 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 high. Now big step. And I should end up in the mount position. That is our sit-up sweep. Oh, Oh, good. Nice to see you guys. Nice to see you, Stanley and Helena. I really appreciate it. Okay, so one more time. Breakdown posture in the guard. So you want to pull your bad guy in, scoop inside and outside, bite. Okay, make sure you're hanging on the bad guy. The bad guy comes up, you come up with them. You should be almost sitting in their lap here. Now put the hand behind you. Okay, we're gonna reach across over top of the arm. Keep the arm for you. It's your arm. You don't get it back. Now we're gonna push our hips in as high as we can, and then take a big step to end up in the mount position. Okay. This is actually one of my favorite sweeps to teach, and it's actually really simple to do at home with like kids. If you're a parent and you're at home with your child, all you got to do is make sure they're hanging on you. Okay, and then it's really easy kind of to finish the sweep. So that is our move of the day. It's our punch block defense from guard to our sit-up sweep because we are sitting up when the bad guy comes up. So a couple of things that you can do kind of at home to have some fun with this. If you want to play a game, one of my favorites is touch the head. So what it is that if you're at home and you want to kind of play a game, if you're the bad guy, you're going to stand. And all you're going to do is lean forward and you're going to try to touch your child's head. This is going to simulate getting hit, essentially. So the goal is to use that open guard maintenance that we worked on earlier, but also add that in with our scoot to our stand and base. So we have, if you're the bad guy, you have your hitchhike, one side, the other side, going forward, make sure they shoulder walk, going backwards, they make a shield. As soon as they make a shield, make sure that they're making a good shield with a stand and base protecting their face. And then you can come in, trying to make sure that they're keeping their hands up when they stand in base. Okay? Okay. Ooh, I have a good question for you. Yes. So Stanley, that had a good question. So the arm that's in the air is you're coming up is the one that's around the head. That is correct. So if I'm here, sorry, interrupting my thought, but I want to make sure to get the questions. So this one that's in the air, that's the one that's around the head. This is the one that's around the arm. So when they come up here, this one is behind me. The one that's around the head switches to going across to trap the arm to finish the sweep. Good question. Okay. So I want to make sure I get on everyone's questions if they have. Okay. Awesome. Just want to make sure we're clear. So back to the game. So we're going to go side. You're going to go forward, making sure they're in good open guard. When you go backwards, make sure that they make a shield. So make sure that they protect their head when they stand in base. So what it's going to look like is, person goes side to side. We want to make sure the person doesn't touch your head. Person doesn't touch your head. Doesn't touch your head. As soon as they go back, here. And when I get to this shield position, I want to make sure I'm scooting back. Making sure this is protecting my head. This is always protecting my head. If you have a noodle, it's even better. When I stand in base, both hands up. So if for the game, if your parent touches your head when you're trying to do open guard maintenance, you owe me 5 push-ups. So make sure you are keeping your hands up in your level 10 focus position and you are using the guard to guard yourself. And when you stand in base, you're standing in base with both hands up and one protecting your face. This is very, very important. Okay, I want to be very, very clear about this. So just a reminder, we did our warm-up or our solo drills. We did our partner drills that you can do at home. Then we have our move of the day, which is our punch block defense to our sit-up sweep. And then our game is touch the head. Just making sure that we're keeping that open guard maintenance, making sure we never let the bad guy hit us in the head. This is very, very, very important. Are there any other questions about anything that we, for Miss Kristen, or anything we can do at home? Just really simple. Well, if there are no other questions, all I wanted to say is thank you guys so much for tuning in here on a Saturday morning. I really, really, really appreciate it, especially because I'm here by myself right now. And so it's really nice to get an opportunity to teach in general. And so if you didn't tune in live, you can always tune in and watch all the old YouTube live classes. They're all free on my YouTube channel. If you want to help support the channel, you can consider becoming a patron on Patreon. That really helps me out a lot. And I am also available for Zoom lessons. If that is something that you are interested in, you can contact me directly. Thank you guys so much. And remember, drillers make killers.